Salam değerli izleyiciler, məktəbli dostlar. Hər birinizi İngilis dili dərsində salamlayırıq. Bugünkü dərsimizi yeni bir formatda sizlərə mən Bakı şəhəri Tahir Həsənov adına 23 saylı məktəbin İngilis dili müəllimi Vəfa Zeynalova və
mən Bakı şəhəri 132-134 saylı təhsil kompleksinin İngilis dili müəllimi Günel Həsənova təqdim edəcəyik. Bugünkü dərsimizdə sizlərə tədris zamanı qavramağı çətin olan sualların izahını verəcəyik.
Beləliklə, müzakirə etdiyimiz mövzu ətrafında suallarınızı bizim rəsmi Facebook səhifəsinə göndərə bilərsiniz. Əziz balalar, biz çalışacağıq ki, 45 dəqiqə ərzində çətinlik çəkdiyiniz sualları sizə izah edək və sizə kömək göstərək. Beləliklə, suallarınızı göndərməyi unutmayın. Biz başlayırıq. Let's get started. Hello dear friends, welcome to our lesson. In our today's lesson, we are going to talk about pronouns. As you know, pronouns is a very extended topic, and in our today's lesson, we'll try to cover some pronouns. By the end of our today's lesson, you will have a better idea of pronouns. And if you have some tricky problems, tricky moments, so effortlessly text to our Facebook page and we'll try to help you. So let's start with classification of pronouns. As you know, there are 11 types of pronouns. Personal pronouns, possessive pronouns, reflexive pronouns, reciprocal pronouns, interrogative pronouns, relative pronouns,
and indefinite pronouns, defining pronouns, negative pronouns, conjunctive pronouns, and demonstrative pronouns.
Mrs. Günel, will you please talk about personal pronouns?
Sure, Mrs. Vefa. Thank you very much. So, dear students, let's begin our lesson for today. First of all, I want to explain you the function of the pronouns in grammar. A pronoun can replace a noun or another pronoun. Let's see one example. Arzu is my sister. In this sentence, Arzu is a noun. And here, she is my sister. She is a pronoun which replaces the word Arzu, which replaces the noun. So we use pronouns like he, her, us, them to make our sentences less repetitive. For example, let's compare these two examples. In the first sentence here, I put here the word Murad and Leyla 2 times. I repeated them. Murad told Leyla that Leyla was Murad's best friend. And now let's compare the sentence by using pronouns. Murad told Leyla that she was his best friend. So you see, we did not use repetition here. Instead, we used pronouns, which made our sentence look much better. Now I want to talk about the classification of the personal pronouns. There are some types like subject pronouns, object pronouns, possessive pronouns, and reflexive pronouns. Let's study each of them closely. First of all, let's get to know the subject pronouns. They are I, you, he, she, it, and plural ones, we, they. Let's see one example. She is a teacher. Subject pronouns are used as subjects of the sentences. For example, John has a car, he drives to work. Here, he is a subject pronoun and it functions as the subject of the sentence. Another example, we live in a big house. Who lives? We. So this is the subject of the sentence and we use the subject pronoun here. Next one is object pronouns. Let's see all the object pronouns. Me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. And now one example to understand this better. The present is for him. Him is an object pronoun here. Object pronouns are used as objects of sentences. They come after a preposition or a verb. Remember this rule, dear students. Object pronouns, you always come after a preposition or a verb, as in these examples. Can you help me? Help is a verb. So after it we say, can you help me? Not can you help I? Or this is Ayan's book, give it to her. So here, give is a verb, and after the verb we use object pronoun, and to is a preposition, and again after the preposition we use an object pronoun. The next section is possessive pronouns. These are mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, theirs. Example, this book is mine. There is something special to know about possessive pronouns, and this is put here. The possessive pronouns are not immediately followed by a noun. They stand alone. It means that after possessive pronouns, we cannot use a noun. For example, the house is theirs. We cannot say theirs house. Or whose book is this? It is yours. And one thing to remember, she is a friend of mine. Always use possessive pronouns with such kind of structure. And one note to remember, in possessive pronouns, we don't put apostrophe. Look here, so not hers with apostrophe, but hers without an apostrophe. Next one, possessive adjectives. Possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, its, our, their. Example, their house is big. What did you notice here? After the possessive adjectives, we use a noun. So possessive adjectives are immediately followed by a noun. They don't stand alone. We cannot just say my and finish the sentence. We need a noun to complete our phrase. My something, my bag, my family, my friend, etc. Let's look at these examples. His book is here. You see, his, and then comes a noun, book, book. Your food is over there. Its leg is broken. One more pronoun is reflexive pronouns. These are myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Remember, in plural ones, we change F into V. So we don't say himself, for example, we say ourselves with V. An example here, I can do it by myself. Reflexive pronouns are used to refer back to a person or a thing. For example, we ask ourselves why we are here. She cut herself while slicing an apple. One thing to remember here, dear students, if you want to guess the reflexive pronoun easily, look at this subject. They always match with the subject. So we, ourselves, she, herself, okay? They match together. And another thing to keep in mind is that, for example, I do my homework by myself is the same, gives the same meaning as I do my homework on my own. Okay, so in the tests, don't confuse, they have the same meaning. By myself means on my own. And something else to remember about the reflexive pronouns. If it is an imperative sentence, we mainly use yourself. Do it yourself. Take care of yourself. I'm sorry.
One question is tempted, but can we say, for example, children, help yourselves?
Yes, we can of course say that, help yourself please. It means that, or
addressing to students, okay, or to someone.
Yes.
For example, okay.
Yeah, right.
Or behave yourselves, boys, behave yourselves.
Right, all kind of imperative sentences, Mrs. Wafa, as you say, are used with yourself. And another thing to remember, the sentences that begin with let's, we use ourselves. Let's introduce ourselves, or let's take care of ourselves. Because let's means let us. It must match, yes, us, ourselves. I'm done with explanation of the personal pronouns. If you have any question, dear students, please feel free to ask. There might be something that I didn't mention, I didn't assume that you are having difficulty with, but you should feel free to ask me and Mrs. Wafa. We are ready to answer to all of your questions here. Now I want to practice a little bit about the personal pronouns we just studied. Let's begin with the first one. So choose the correct pronouns. Does your son always do homework? So here we are asked to choose the possessive pronoun and reflexive pronoun. Which one should we choose? Let's see. It's a son, so we need third person singular, him, and homework himself. So the answer is his. I'm sorry, I said him. So does your son always do his homework himself? This is the correct answer. Next question. Baku is the capital of Azerbaijan and political and cultural center. So let's see. Baku is the capital of Azerbaijan and it's. We need a possessive adjective here. Remember, without apostrophe. With apostrophe, it means it is, but we need a possessive adjective which is used without an apostrophe. Next question. I cannot tell which book is and which book is. So we are going to use reflexive pronoun here. We have to choose the correct one because we need a reflexive one. As you see, we don't have a noun followed by it. So we cannot choose, for example, we can choose actually. I cannot tell which book is yours and which book is her. We can choose it. But, I'm sorry, I cannot tell which book is
Yes,
yours.
you are right, yours and his, because, you know, which book is yours?
Yes.
There is no noun. That's why you have chosen correctly, yes.
Yes, why we couldn't choose A? I'm sorry, I just confused. You know, it's a live stream, you can get confused. In A, if it were hers, then we could use it. But now we cannot choose it because it is not a reflexive pronoun. And next one, I cannot tell, yeah, this is the same. We did this already. Okay, you may have seen such kind of tasks on test banks. So how to do this task? First of all here, Alice's nephew. We shouldn't get confused. We cannot say Alice is her. And we don't have it here. Alice's nephew, it's a boy, yes? It's one boy, so he. Put the spectacles. The spectacles is a noun, but it is a plural noun. That's why we should choose a plural pronoun. So the answer is yes.
Okay.
The answer is D. So Alice's nephew, who, he, put the spectacles, put them into the case. We cannot choose, for example, put it, because the spectacles is a noun which is always in plural.
In many cases, 7th, 8th graders mix this question. They get confused. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you very much for your explanation.
Thank you very much. So we can give more examples. Instead of spectacles, you can have trousers, pants, glasses. The same way we scissors, for example. All the time we are going to choose them as pronoun to use with them. And now I'm done with my part. Please feel free to ask any question if you have to me. Now Mrs. Wafa is going to continue.
Mrs. Günel,
Yes.
Samir Mehdiev sent one question.
Okay.
He asks which verbs are never used with reflexive pronouns. If you don't mind, I'll explain.
Okay, please, sure.
Okay, but I need my sliding board. Our sliding
you.
board. Okay. Okay, it's okay. So, dear children, I would like you to remember one important thing. So, the verbs remember, wash, shower, shave, sit down, feel, and dress. Remember one thing, that these verbs are never used with myself. We never say, remember myself, wash myself, shower myself, shave myself, and we can never say myself with feel. It's prohibited, it's impossible. And, but if you want to emphasize that someone is doing something, we can use reflexive pronouns. For example, though my son is 2 years old, he dresses himself. Or, for example, as I mentioned before, boys, behave yourselves, okay? And there are some verbs, these students, when they are used with reflexive pronouns, they change their meaning. For example, I would like to write them. Would you like to help yourselves to another drink? Would you like to help yourselves to another drink? It means, would you like to take another drink? The next sentence, for example, I wish, it's subjunctive mood, I wish you would behave yourselves. Boys, I wish you would behave yourselves. It means, I wish you behave well. Or another example, for example, she applied herself to the job of repairing bulbs. We can say she worked hard to repair the bulbs. Or another sentence, for example, he found himself lying on the ground. It means that he was surprised when he saw that he was lying on the ground. You see? Or he busied himself working in the garden. It means he worked busily in the garden, or he worked hard in the garden. So these are examples, the students, one more time, bear in your mind that these verbs, remember, wash, shower, shave, sit down, feel, dress, are never used with the reflexive pronoun myself. Okay, well, let's continue. And these students, our sliding board, I'll put it in its place. And when I have looked through the questions, some students, Davut Süleymanlı, sent me a question to explain the difference between each and other, and one student, Tamirlan, sent me a question to explain the difference between defining pronouns, the other. Okay, so I'll try to explain everything to you. So let's start with defining pronouns, other. Remember that other is used with countable plural nouns, okay? We can say other boys, other questions, other girls, and with uncountable nouns. Uncountable, I say singular because uncountable nouns are always singular, but sometimes in order to mix you, to puzzle you, you are given such questions. For example, she received other luggages. You know that luggage is uncountable noun. It is used only in singular. So one more time, bear in your mind that other is used with countable plural noun and the uncountable noun that is always singular. Then let's study other and the other, another. So other, it means more in addition, okay? In addition to used or to once, for example, already mentioned, or alternative, different. We have other styles if you are interested, alternative styles. Or have you got any other dresses Or it means, have you got different dresses, alternative dresses? Well, and these students, I would like you to remember that other is used with no. If you are given a test, for example, a blank, and then other, you can use no, no other. And remember one thing, that no is never used with another, never. Because no is never used with the article. And other, it comes from the article, indefinite article, another. That's why we never say no another. And no is never used with the prepositions either. Well, and another. What is another? Another, one more, an extra, an additional. For example, I don't like this book, it's boring. Give me another book or another one. And we use one to avoid repetition, to replace countable nouns, okay? Singular countable noun. For example, I need another pen. I need an alternative pen, a different pen. As I said, this book is boring. Give me another one, another book. And some more examples. I need another pen, or we have got to go another day, or she wants another cup of tea. Do you remember when I gave examples with reflexive pronouns? I told you, would you like to help yourselves to another drink, okay? Additional, alternative. Well, so dear students, what is the difference between other and another? As we've learned today, other is used with countable nouns in plural and with uncountable noun. Another is used only with singular countable noun, okay? And another can also be used with plural nouns. But when we speak about distance, when we speak about time and money. And this sentence, this is according to your context, okay? The structure is given as a period. For example, my friend stayed 3 days, and I asked her to stay another 3 days, okay? Pay attention. Another plus number and plus plural noun. Another 3 days. The first part of my sentence, he stayed 3 days. So the second sentence depends on the first sentence, okay? The second idea. She stayed 3 days and I asked her to stay another 3 days. These students, I would like you to remember one thing. If I say, for example, my friend stayed a couple of weeks and then I decided or I asked her to stay another 3 days, it's wrong sentence, okay? So they should correlate this sentence. Then, or she gave him $10 and he asked to give him another $10, okay? But if you say she gave him 5 minutes and he asked to give him another 5 minutes, it doesn't sound correct, okay? But my dad gave me $10 and I asked him to give me another $10. In this situation, in this context, that will be correct. Then, let's speak about others. Others replace other and plus plural noun, okay? Others is not followed by a noun. Others itself a pronoun. Others mean other people. For example, some people have red hair. Others, okay, others have brown hair. Or some people have red hair. The other people have brown hair. These shoes are too small. Do you have any other shoes, okay? Or do you have any others? Well, we have another book for you. If you remember, another is used with singular countable noun. Another is not used with uncountable noun. Another plus singular noun. We have other books for you. Other plus plural noun. Let's summarize. Remember one more time that other is used with plural noun, plural countable noun, and with uncountable noun. Okay? Well. And now, dear students, let's speak about the other. The other, it means the rest, okay? The rest of mentioned before. I would like to use this structure. I like this sum, 5 minus 4 equals 1. So, we have two hands. One is our right hand, the other, okay? Mentioned the rest out of the two is my right hand, my left hand. Okay, or look at your hand. We have fingers. One is your thumb. Another finger is your index finger. Another finger is your middle finger. Another finger is your ring finger. And the rest of the 5, okay? The rest of the 5 mentioned is your little finger. Or I can say, I've got 5 friends, they live abroad. 3 of my friends live in the United States of America. And for example, 2 of them, yes, I mean, live in Russia. Or for example, I've got 5 friends, 4 of my friends live in the United States, and the rest I mean the 1, okay? Is it clear? The rest that out of the 5 friends. Or is it clear, dear students? So when we say, for example, we can see 3 birds in the tree. 2 birds are pigeons, and the other is, for example, a nightingale. Or the same example with my friends. I have 5 friends. 3 of them live in the United States of America. And here I'll say the others, okay? Because 2, when we say 2 or more, we'll say the others. But when we mean, if you remember the example with my fingers, the rest, okay? We say the other. When we mean 2 or more, we'll say the others. But when we mean 1, the rest that are used out of 5, out of 4, we'll say the other. There are 2 books on the table. One of them is mine, the other is yours, okay? One of them is mine, the other is yours. Or I have 30 students in my class. 20 of them want to be lawyers. The other students want to be prosecutors, okay? Why I said the other students? Because I have used out of this context. Is it clear? Out of 30 students, 20 want to be lawyers, and the other students, I mean the remaining 10 students, want to be prosecutors. Or we can say the other students or the others, okay? The others, well. And I remember Tamirlan Husseinli sent me one question to explain to him this moment. By the way, I have such question, a similar question in my slide. I would like to share it with you. Let's take a look. We expected 20 guests to arrive. 19 of them are here, because 19 out of 20. Our other guest will be here in half an hour. Why I said our other guest? Because before I have explained to you that we could say the other guest, because out of 20, yes, the other. But these students, please remember, here I have used possessive pronoun. When we use possessive pronoun, we never use the article. We like swallow it, okay? So our other guest will say. Is it clear? Or another question. Half of an apple consists of 2 parts. Half of an apple looks like it's. We have another, the other, others, other half. What shall we choose here? How do you think? Do you remember I said, for example, I have 2 hands. One is my right hand and the other is my left. And here we could have used the other half. But these students, here you see what? Possessive pronoun its, okay? That's why, consequently, we'll say its other half. We will never say its, for example, the other or its another, okay? Its other half. I think you have better idea of this tricky moment. Well, and now I would like to talk about negative pronouns. Negative pronouns, no, none, neither, and their derivatives. Dear students, negative pronouns are used with plural countable nouns, with singular uncountable nouns, for example, no news. And singular countable noun, no house, okay? And remember one thing, that we never use no with prepositions and with articles either. We never say no with an or the. Well, and nobody, no one, these are their derivatives. If you have such questions in your test, for example, in variant A you have nobody and in variant D you have no one, effortlessly think that these are the same, okay? Same pronouns with the same meaning. And remember one thing, that nobody, no one, and all derivative pronouns are never used with of, them. And nothing. So we use nobody, no one to speak about people, and nothing when we mean things, okay? No thing, nothing. So remember one thing, that they are never used with of or with article. And
I'm sorry, Ms. Vefa, about this negative pronouns, we have a question. Can you please explain?
Yes, please.
Okay,
which question?
we have Ilbiya Ibrahimova. She's asking, can you please explain the difference between each other and one another?
But this is
yes, I'm sorry.
Reciprocal pronoun.
Yeah,
okay, I'll come because there are some questions.
There is another question which says, I have trouble in using either and neither. Please, can you explain?
Either and neither. I'll come here. I'll come and I'll explain. Dear student, don't worry. I'll cover all your questions. So, none is not directly used with nouns, okay? If you want to place noun, we have to use between them preposition. None of the books, okay? We can't say none books. None of the books. Neither student is used with singular countable noun. Neither of the students. We can say neither of the students. And there was a question with neither and either.
Yes.
These students, if you remember both and, okay? And neither is the negative form of both. We can say, for example, neither Günel nor Aygün came to school yesterday, okay? But in positive sentence, we'll say both Aygün and Günel were at the party. And I'll talk about either. Either has some moments, tricky moments that you have to remember. Now, if you don't mind, Mrs. Günel, I'll explain to Davut his question, because he asked me, Süleymanlı Davut, he asked me a question, the difference between each and every. So, dear students, first of all, remember that we use each when we refer to individual person or individual things, okay? And each is used with singular countable noun. Remember, we can say each of the children, each of you, each of us, object pronoun, each of them. And I would like to grab your attention. Please look at these books. There are some books, each of them is interesting, okay? I mean each of them, separately, each of them. But, for example, we should learn each rule carefully, or each of the rules carefully. Each of the rules, I mean one by one, okay, dear students? And each can be used at the beginning of the sentence. For example, each day I see you, you look gorgeous, Mrs. Günel, for example. Or each can be used in the middle of the sentence. For example, the students were each given a laptop. and each can be used at the end of the sentence. For example, the grapefruits cost 3 manats each. Okay? And every. Again, I am coming to my example with books. For example, I want to read every book. Every book. It means I want to read all books here. Okay? Every book, all books here. So every is used with singular noun. Every child, every day, every book. But every refers to group of people, to group of things. Okay? Each refers to each. For example, I've got 5 students. Each of them is brilliant. Okay? Is it clear? And what's the difference between each and every, dear Davut? Remember, please, that every can't be used alone. Each is used alone. Okay? For example, their rooms are the same. Each is wonderful. Each is light. But we can't use every alone. We use every with noun. For example, every child, every book, every day. Or we use every with one. Everyone, that is written together. Don't mix it with pronoun everyone. Well, these students, and one more example. For example, I want to visit every country of the world. It means I want to see all countries of the world. Well, and remember one thing. Everybody, everyone, everything, these derivatives are never used with of the. Okay? So, do you remember before I have mentioned every plus one plus plural noun? Remember, so we can use everyone with of the, but everybody, everyone, this pronoun can't be used together with of the. Okay? And let's remember the agreement, subject and predicate agreement, pronoun agreement. We'll say everyone, after everyone, we use plural noun and singular verb. Okay. Children, as I told you, everyone can be used together. We can say everyone. Every can be used with one. But we can't use, for example, every alone. We can use each alone, but every is not used alone. For example, have you read all of these books? Yes, everyone. Okay, these students. And one more thing regarding every. When we want to, for example, ask a question, how often do you ride the bike, Mrs. Günel? She says, I, for example, ride a bike every day, we can say.
Okay,
and
before you move on, please, we have a question here. If you want, you can answer.
I haven't answered all the questions yet. Please, I want to answer in order. Which question related to my topic that I'm explaining right now?
Yes. Just a minute. There is a student who wants us to explain the difference between one another and each other.
One another, each other is a reciprocal pronoun. We are not talking about this today.
It's general about pronouns. So.
One another, each other, for example, when they are reciprocal pronouns, for example, we respect each other with Mrs. Günel, okay? But when we speak about 2 or more people, we can say we love, we respect, we understand one another. When 2 people are mentioned, we use each other. But when 3 or more people are mentioned, we can say one another. But I would like to add one thing, that in modern English, especially in American English, these students, this variant each other is mostly used, okay? Is used very often. So we can say we understand each other in our group, okay? Well, and can I continue, please?
Yes,
because
please.
I have to answer all other questions. So let's speak about both. I think Davut is satisfied with my answer. Now let's move on. Let's speak about both. So both is used with countable plural noun. We can say both girls. We can say both of the girls. Or we can say both their girls, these students. Okay? Is it clear? For example, we both know it. It means both of us know it. You must both go there. Both of you must go there. They both work there. Both of them work there. So one more time, remember. We say both girls, we can say, or both the girls, or both of the girls. We can't say both of girls. We have to use here the article the. Well, let's move on. And as I mentioned before, there was a question. Both is not used in negative sentences. We use neither. But we use neither with singular noun, okay? Neither of them knew about it. Neither of them came to the meeting. Both is also used with and. Both Aygün and Güney were there, were at the party. Or the coat is both good and cheap. And girl wanted to answer
Yes,
this. She's mixing, she's confusing. Either. It's a little bit tricky, no, and these students, remember, either can be used in the meaning each of the two. Each of the two, we use either with singular pronoun. One or the other. We can also use in this meaning, and both. For example, you may go by either road, okay? Or here are two dictionaries, Mrs. Günel. You may take either of them. Okay? Or there were chairs on either side of the table. These students, remember, not on the other side, on either side of the table. Here I just prepared photo. Unfortunately, it's not visible in our slide. Either girl or either of the girls, we can say either of them, either of us, either of you. These students, and all. We can use all with countable plural nouns. We can say all of us, all of you, all of them. And all is also used with uncountable noun, okay? All is used with both countable nouns in plural and with uncountable noun. All luggage, uncountable noun. We must all go there, or all of us must go there. You must both read the news. All of you must read the book. Or they all work there. Or all of them work there. And the last thing, just what I wanted to explain to you, these students, I think Mrs. Günel also agrees with me, she shares my point of view, will say all my life, okay? It means my whole life. Remember, we can say all with pronoun, with noun, but after whole, we use only noun because whole requires noun, okay? Or all the news, it means the whole information. By the way, we can use all independently. For example, all are here. All are here when we mean plural nouns. Or all is here. All are here, it means everybody is here. Or all is here, it means everything is here. Well, these students, I would like to ask our director, do we have time? How much time is left? Okay. There was one question from Mrs. Günel to differentiate, yes, difference between everyone and everyone, how they are written. Okay, will you please explain the difference between everyone and everyone? I need my sliding board. Me? Yes. Oh, it's very squeaky. Sorry, the spectators, it's very squeaky. Okay, we say everyone and everyone. Remember that everyone comes from every, okay? Every, we say everyone. So everyone refers to groups of people, okay? To people within a group. But everyone refers to each individual of the group, okay? So remember, everyone refers to each individual of the group. We can say, every one of the girls is happy, okay? But everyone refers, as I told you, do you remember the pronoun every? Every. I would like to read every book. on this shelf. It means I want to read all the books. And now we need to practice. I would like to, sorry. Now, Mrs. Günel, will you please explain, comment this test, and then I'll move on others, please.
Sure. Okay, let's have a look at this question. Can of you help me? It's crowded here. There is to sit on. So we need to choose a correct answer here. Which one can be correct answer? What do you think? Let's look at A. Can any one of you? We cannot use of after anyone. So this is not our answer. Let's look at the second one. Can any of you, it's suitable, we can choose it. Can any of you help me? It's crowded here. There is nothing to sit on. Yes, this sounds correct. Now let's look at the others. Can anybody of you? No, it is impossible to say anybody of you. Can something of you? Again, impossible. Can anybody of you? So the answer is B. Can any of you help me? It is crowded here.
Okay, I'll continue. The next question. You can see a gap of them try to explain most clearly. So what can we use? We can't use these students every of them because every is not used alone. Every is used with everyone. That's why consequently this variant is incorrect. If we, for example, look at this variant, everybody, somebody, we never say everybody of them or somebody of them. I have just explained it to you. So B, D, E, these variants are incorrect. And we have two variants. Which one to choose? Both of them, this part goes, it's okay. But the second part, both of them try to explain every most clearly. Again, we are coming to the same rule that every is not used alone, okay? Every needs a noun. That's why this variant is also incorrect. And we are choosing variant A. Each of them try to explain everything most clearly. Please, Mrs. Günel.
Okay, let's look at another test. Here she learns two foreign languages. One of them is English, then is French. The others, we cannot choose variant A because it's in plural. We have here is French. B, the other is French. So one of them is English. The rest one is French.
If you remember my example with hands, yes? I have two hands. One is my right hand, the other. Okay, continue please.
Another is French, other is French, others is French. So our answer, as we mentioned, which means the rest one is B, the other is French.
Okay. The next question. Choose the correct pronouns. I have lost my pen, my pencil, and some, you can say a blank, and things. So we can't say some everythings, and it doesn't sound, yes. Every is used with singular noun. It's incorrect. We can't say another things, incorrect. We can't say some the other things. After some, we don't use the article. The other things, it doesn't go. And we can't say others because you know I gave you example. After others, we don't use any noun. So consequently, we'll choose here variant E, other things. Well, these students, and one more question, Mrs. Günel, will you please explain?
Okay, let's look at this question. Only half of this money is hers, not of it. Half belongs to his sister. So let's see, not all of it. The other half belongs to his sister. Let's keep this question in our mind and look at the other ones. Not every of. We can never use every with of, so it is impossible. Not each of them is impossible because we cannot count money. We cannot use this word with money. So again, not every of them, not every of them. So our answer is not all of them is hers. The other half belongs to his sister. This is the correct answer.
Okay, dear friends, I have read the questions. Our spectators, our dear students sent multiple questions about tense forms, what the difference between will to be going to. They ask us to explain to them the gerund, one of my favorite topics, by the way. But unfortunately, I would like to tell you that we have run out of time and we have to conclude our today's lesson, dear students. Əziz tamaşaçılar, məktəbli dostlar, bugünkü dərsimiz sona çatır. Bizə ayrılan vaxt yekunlaşıb və biz dərsimizi bitirməliyik. Biz çalışdıq ki, bugünkü dərsimizdə bəzi əvəzlikləri sizə izah edək və sizdə çətinlik yaradan, qavramaqda çətinlik çəkdiyiniz problemli sualları daha da dərindən izah edək. Və ümid edirik ki, bugünkü dərsimiz produktiv oldu. Gələn dərslərimizdə biz bu mövzunu bir daha, yəni qalan əvəzlikləri biz sizə izah edəcəyik. Əziz tamaşaçılar, əziz məktəbli dostlar və sağ olun.
Hələlik əziz dostlar, növbəti teledərslərdə görüşənədək. Sağ olun.
Sağ olun.